Showdown. I'm Jason Gilbo, J Gilbo 11. With me is Russell Clay at Russell J Clay. Taking a look at pitching on tonight's 8-game slate here. Of course, we're looking at 7:05 and later games. Overall, I mean, really a couple appealing options up top, and then you kind of really start to dive down into an area you don't really want to find yourself. But
I would describe this slate as a two-pitcher and a really fun stacking slate.
it gets bad.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of like 4K guys on DK, like Logan Verrett, Nick Martinez, and Brock Stewart. Doesn't that sound like a mid 2000s like Disney TV show, like Logan and Brock?
Oh yeah, that's definitely.
Yeah. Like, it wouldn't be a funny one, but it'd be one like after Family Guy or something that would be on and be like, I guess I'm going to watch this anyway. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's more of a for Family Guy. Like, it's kind of like a lighthearted, type of thing. Brock's a trouble kid. Logan's maybe the good one, plays baseball, that type of deal.
Oh, Smart Guy. That's the one I was talking about. You know that show, Taj Mowry? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch that ton, but, I do know what you're talking about. You obviously know your shows.
Yes.
But
yes,
looking at the first games here, you have the Mets and Nationals looking for Ray, Max Scherzer, Washington minus 157 favorites there, over under 7.5. You look at this Mets offense, and really they've been abysmal. And you're looking even at last night. I mean, Giolito threw 4 quality innings before the game was delayed for rain, and still they couldn't score after that. So
what a bummer for him. That was a great debut, and then it's just snatched away from him.
It was, but so we're looking at the Mets here. I mean, just what they've done over the last few weeks, it's been nothing. Bottom 5 in strikeout rate, or bottom 5 in WOBA over the last 2 weeks. Strikeout rate's high still. You like this game here for Scherzer? I mean, home runs have been a really big issue for him this season. I mean, a career high in that department, but that 33% strikeout rate is what kind of balances it out a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think you're worried about him. Obviously, he got beat up a little last start, but that's not indicative of sort of what a good start would look like for him. So even if he doesn't have his best stuff tonight, I'm still fairly confident against this Mets team right now. They need Daniel Murphy back badly.
Yeah, I am too, and I agree. I mean, that offense right now, I mean, banged up. Granderson left the game last night, so this is going to be once again a lineup that's missing one of their 3 hitters that you can actually maybe make viable cases for. So
right.
You're looking at Scherzer. I mean, at home this season, the home runs have been lower. Once again, I mean, he's just your top option as far as GPPs and cash games.
Yeah, it's not particularly close. I mean, we'll talk about Salazar in a little bit, but beyond those two, I mean, especially on a DK, I'd be very interested in potentially paying up there.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I mean, after you're getting down, I mean, you have Carlos Martinez and Masahiro Tanaka as far as that next tier, but they're not in perfect spots.
Well, and you have James Shields, 4,400, baby.
We'll get to him in a little bit. Next game here, I mean, Verre, I mean,
no,
cheap guy, but he's not really an option for me tonight. I like those Nationals prices quite a bit. So, Rangers and Yankees, Nick Martinez versus Masahiro Tanaka. New York big favorites here, minus 177 favorites, 8.5 over under. You look at Tanaka, I mean, a sizable discount, 8,300. He hasn't been great at home this year, but I don't know. I mean, you can make a case for him just because he is a quality arm. And, you look at this Texas offense and, yes, they're good. But I think they are more middle of the road and they can't be beaten.
Yeah, you don't love the matchup, but you also don't hate it either. Probably a pretty good chance at a win here. I really like the Yankees lineup tonight. So maybe if you're stacking the Yankees, you can throw Tanaka out there. Obviously, that's more of a FanDuel thing because the win's worth so much more. But I think he's got a decent shot at a quality start here. Obviously, you're still worried about the power, especially like a Mazzara. But beyond that, I think he has a pretty good shot at getting through this.
Yeah, I do too. And you look at his strikeout rate. I mean, it hasn't really been that great this season. And you're looking, I mean, the last 2 starts, he has 12 combined, but he was facing the Twins, so a high strikeout team. The Rangers don't strike out a ton. And I'm with you. I do think a quality starts here. I mean, 6 innings, 3 earned runs. If you can get that win and maybe 4 to 5 strikeouts at that price tag on tonight's slate, it's a little bit safer option. And I don't see kind of guys lower than him really possessing that type of safety.
For sure.
But I do think because of the matchup, that floor is a little bit lower. But obviously, it's not as low as a JPV or as low as a James Shields.
Mm-hmm.
So. And on the other side, I mean, you mentioned you like the Yankees lineup, and I do as well. Nick Martinez, not a strong arm by any means.
Yeah, definitely. Also, those first 3, especially if Beltran's in the lineup, I really like those 3.
Yeah, definitely. And look at the next game here. You mentioned Danny Salazar. That's who we have. Indians and Braves. De La Cruz for Salazar, and Salazar a big favorite here. The price tag's high. I mean, 12-2 here, but obviously Salazar is that number 2 option on the slate.
Yeah, I think in cash you kind of, I'm not saying you have to, but on DK I think you just go with the top 2 guys here and just don't worry about it. Because this is a great matchup. Obviously, the Braves are one of the weaker offenses, even though they've been doing a little better of late. This is going to be a tough matchup for them. Obviously, Indians 210 favorites, so it's not looking pretty for the Braves here.
No, and you look at Salazar. I mean, he's been one of the reasons why Cleveland's been great this year. And you look at those Braves offense; they haven't been great this year. Starting to hit a little bit better, but overall, you just look at Salazar. I mean, 48% ground ball rate to go with the 28% strikeout rate this year. Keeps the ball in the ballpark. I mean, obviously, Turner Field's a decent option for pitchers as well. So, for me, great option. FanDuel, I'm not quite sure if I like spinning down from Scherzer just because I think you look at the Braves offense, I mean, they really don't strike out a ton. So, I do think Scherzer paying up a little bit more gives you a little bit higher floor, a little bit higher ceiling, too.
Yeah. Definitely agree there. And the consistency for Salazar is why you definitely want to pay up in cash. So I think both of them are great options.
Yeah, and no Coors game, so I mean you can do some value. And there are some decent guys. I mean, you are going to maybe at the one or two spots to kind of get into that next tier, but I think paying up for the 2 safest options as far as pitching could be the way to go.
Definitely.
And then we get to Twins White Sox. Ricky Nolasco.
R.I.P. R.I.P. Ricky Nolasco. He's toast. He's going to get smashed tonight.
He's more expensive than James Shields by about $3K.
And, oh, man. Yeah, it's just going to get ugly. Fire up your Adam Eatons. Fire up your Jose Abreu's. I mean, I'm in on this matchup big time. Yeah,
I am too. And those White Sox bats are at nice price tags again. I mean, obviously come off a disappointing outing last night, but let's talk about James Shields.
Oh God, it's getting ugly out there. I mean, I threw him out there when he first got traded. He did that first start against the Tigers. I was all excited because I got such a good value, and it was just a complete and utter obliteration. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't retire after that game. So he's still out there. He's fighting, but it's kind of like, when there's a lot of snow and you're like trying to walk, but you just aren't getting much traction. That's kind of what's happened. And then he like fell over and now he's cold and like he just needs to go back inside.
Just sit there shiver, but no one can find him. No one can find him.
No. Oh, absolutely not. He needs to turn around and go back into his house and just retire.
Okay, so his best game so far in a White Sox uniform, he's registered 5.9 DK points. That's been his best game.
I mean, that's probably better than I could do, honestly.
Yeah, there's no argument there, but
I always wondered like how lucky you could get. So like just on fly balls. So I'm throwing my meatballs down there. How many just wouldn't go for home runs and would be like pop outs?
Well, you got
a home run derby. They don't hit a homer every time.
No, I mean, you think what I would do is I would get with Stephen Wright before the game and be like, hey, teach me the knuckleball real quick. Because real quick you can just pick up a knuckleball.
Jason, I have a pretty filthy two-seamer that goes about 73 miles an hour. So I don't think I need any of that. Anyway, back to Shields. Yeah, it's been a massacre. And even before he went to the White Sox, it was really getting ugly. So something's just not right. I think we definitely target this game on both sides. Like, I'm okay with a full game stack here.
I am too. And I think for me, I mean, yes, I'm going to probably toss in a Shields lineup or two. I'm also going to cover it with a twin stack because it's going to go both ways. I do think it's just going to be kind of this one or the other ways. He's either going to blow up or he's going to throw 6 quality innings and actually be decent.
So you might be going in?
I'm going to have 2 lines. I mean, honestly,
dive in? The water's feeling warm?
You're taking a look at all these options below Tanaka. And I'm talking strictly DK. FanDuel, I'm not playing.
Yeah.
I'm not playing Shields, but DK is an SP2. You can pair him with a Scherzer. And, you have about 4K left over and 4K is really all you need on tonight's slate. I mean, you're getting a lot of elite names for pretty cheap out there today.
Yeah, that's fair.
Does it make me sick to my stomach? Am I going to just probably regret it later on?
Yes.
Sure. But you look at this Twins offense, and one, I mean, they're not very good. Yes, they've been slowly getting a little bit better of late, but overall that strikeout rate's still high, 22.4% rate against righties, 22nd in WOBA. Obviously, Shields has faced some better offenses. I mean, obviously, you look at what he's done. He's ran into a Red Sox team that's been hot, even though that was his best outing. Ran into an Indians team that was red hot, a Tigers team that's red hot. So a Mariners team. I mean, I'm not trying to build a case for him, but he's had some really tough, and obviously he's been just horrible. But I still think maybe you look tonight and go, okay, if I'm rostering any of these guys down low.
And to be fair, and to your point, there have been a lot of dominant lefties in those lineups. Even against the Nationals, obviously you have Harper Murphy. So I definitely respect this take and this hill. We'll see what would you be happy with? Like 12?
5. Yeah,
honestly,
I mean,
like 12.
I want to shoot for 15. 15 would be my output tonight. And if you got anything higher, then I'm going to buy a bottle of booze and I'm celebrating because
you're going to Sizzler.
Yeah, I'm gonna go treat myself. Yeah, Shields is a Sizzler type pitcher,
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Obviously we've been down this road numerous times, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it happen just like any of those times. But I'm taking a dive again.
Diving in, folks.
I'm not suggesting anyone else to. You don't have to, but I am.
All right, that's legit. I like it.
Nolasco.
That takes resolve, Jason.
Thank you. Ricky Nolasco.
No.
I'm not looking at him today. I mean, obviously, he's pitched remotely better than Shields, so I think maybe if you're looking at this game, you'd be like, okay, if I'm taking the better of the 2 options of late, it'd be Nolasco. But I like those White Sox bats more than I do the Twins bats.
Yes, I really like the White Sox bats. Yes.
So with an over-under of 10, you can take a look at a 4,400 pitcher, and you don't have to use them. I'm not suggesting that you do, but it's a tournament option.
Yes.
Next game here, you got the Dodgers and Brewers. Brock Stewart, Junior Guerra, over under 9 here in Miller Park.
Brock Stewart is
he's actually
starring. What movie would he star in? Some surfing movie.
Because his name's Brock.
Or high school football. Or Pokemon.
I think, I do think a football movie would be pretty good.
Brock Stewart is in a wheelchair.
He's an intriguing option. He's a high strikeout pitcher. I mean, he collected 247 Ks over 220 innings from what I read here over the minor league innings. So, I mean, a decent, sub 2 ERA. So he could be a guy. I mean, obviously the floor is going to be low in a start against the Brewers in Miller Park. We saw them kind of tee off on guys there in the past, but that strikeout rate, I mean, 26.1% against right-handed pitching, leads the league. There could be some strikeout upside here with Brock Stewart. I actually don't mind him as a GPP option at 5,200.
That's a fair call. I actually really like the Brewers as a stack tonight, but in the same respect, they do have that high strikeout rate, and I think you can kind of take advantage of a potential low ownership for Stewart. So yeah, I like both sides there. I am balancing on the tightrope of lukewarm to cold takes, and that's where I'm gonna lay. But I do, in general, I like the Brewers as one of the top stacks of the night, but I get it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're going to look at any guy making his first, start in the bigs and feel, in Miller Park it's tough and see that over under.
Yeah.
He's a small favorite, and for me, I do like the Brewers bets against him. It's one of those things where you might cover yourself in GPPs and maybe go against it. And Stewart's not a guy who I'm going to have multiple shares of. It's just kind of probably going to be a one and done type thing, and pair him with Scherzer and see what I can get.
Right.
So
I like that you're taking the contrarian, you've taken it from me. Now you're the contrarian guy.
It's
I don't
just
know what
for
happened
tonight.
I don't know what happened.
I'll toss the belt back to you tomorrow.
Yeah, I feel like less of a man right now because I'm just so not in. I'm not gambling. I'm not.
I know you're playing it safe tonight.
I know. I don't know.
It's a night for me to get risky, and I'm definitely doing some with those two guys.
Definitely.
Guerra, for me at a price tag, I'd rather kind of spin down to. Dodgers offense hasn't been great, but starting to come around a little bit. Too many lefties in that ballpark for me to kind of feel comfortable with. If Turner, Peterson, and guys are kind of out of the lineup, I maybe take a look at him if that lineup's weak. But overall, he's a guy who been kind of stumbling of late. Yes, he had a good start against Oakland, but those three starts against the Dodgers, Mets, and Phillies didn't kind of lead me to anything where there's a ton of upside.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
So moving on to the next game, you had the Royals and Cardinals. Carlos Martinez versus Edison Volquez. St. Louis minus 161 favorites, over under of 8. Martinez is a guy who I don't hate tonight. I'm looking at him. I mean, he's 1,100 more expensive than Tanaka, but he's at home against the Royals. Look at this Royals offense. I mean, yes, good middle of the road against right-handed pitching though. So I think Carlos Martinez could be a viable option.
Definitely viable. I like him, but I don't know. I can't do it tonight, man. I can't do it. I can't. I'm gonna lock those two big guys in and just roll with it. No. So for tournaments, I definitely like Martinez. 9K, that's not too bad. On DK. So as a SP2, I just definitely want to involve myself with the Scherzer Salazar as the SP1. So definitely viable. But I wouldn't want him as the SP1.
No, he's definitely not an SP1. He's a guy who I can see kind of pairing up with someone else. I mean, maybe I do have to spin down from a Stanley Salazar or something if bats aren't really working out for me. And I don't have a problem doing that. I mean, he's at home. And you look, over the month of June, he's been great. 1.59 ERA, allowing a 2.23 WOBA. Strikeout rate has been solid. So overall, I mean, he's an intriguing option for me. I mean, this Royals team has been hitting the ball well of late. But overall, I do think Martinez can get on a hot run. I mean, he tamed a Seattle offense on the road. We saw him Texas at home, pitched well. So the Giants he pitched well against. At Milwaukee he pitched well against. So he's done it against some good offenses in the past. And I do think there is a reasonable floor here. And obviously I don't think the ceiling's quite as high as some of the other guys. But I do think he's a legitimate option.
You're a legitimate option. That's my statement on that.
So you're not feeling.
Moving on. Giants A's. Jake Peavy versus Sean Manaea. I'm not really looking at either of these guys. I don't trust Peavy at this point against this A's team. Obviously, they've been going off the last few days, so I'm not really I'm not really jumping in on the PV train tonight.
No, 6,600. I mean, I wrote up about him because I think he sits at that mid-tier price tag, and he's a guy who has pitched better, but he's a guy we've actually been relying on quite a bit in good matchups. We've been really picky with him. Um, obviously we used him against Atlanta, San Diego, Tampa Bay, Phillies, those types of teams, and got the job done. And I'm with you. I think this A's team is better than advertised. But overall, I mean, they still really aren't that great as far as against right-handed pitching. The one thing is they don't strike out a ton. But if you do look, I mean, over the last 2 weeks or so, it has been a little bit higher of a strikeout rate. But outside of that, I mean, PV at that price tag, there's a reasonable floor for me there. In a spacious ballpark like Oakland, decent favorite for the win. So I do expect plenty of offense as far as the Giants side against Manaea.
Meh.
Yeah, that's what it is. But let's go below Tanaka. I mean, there's not a guy down there that you're not saying meh to.
Right.
So, I mean, that's what you have.
Yeah, no, it's true. I would rather just go with some of the other guys we talked about, though.
Yeah, no, I think you can kind of spin down even lower. Tilion versus Miley here in this late game. And obviously, we kind of skipped over Manaea, but Manea's been a guy to not really target. And I like some of those Giants bats.
Yeah, this is one where I'd want to play Jameson Talion, but that's a tough matchup for him. I don't like him going against sort of this experienced Mariners lineup, especially with Cano and Seager sitting there with the lefty versus righty. Obviously, you have Land, Seth Smith, Martin, so that's a ton of lefties for him to face in sort of a very early career start. So I do have faith in his stuff and eventually, but not tonight.
Yeah, and you're looking at him in the last two starts. He faced two lineups with heavily left-handed bats, Dodgers and Cubs, and got shelled. 8 runs between those two, gave up 3 home runs to the Cubs. 7,700 is a price tag that I don't feel like taking a chance on. I don't like picking on this team. And as far as Wade Miley goes, those Pirates bats are kind of cheap, and Wade Miley's not a great arm by any means. And for him, I mean, he's priced at 5,800, but I actually like some Pirates bats against him.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely like some Pirates bats against him. So this is not a game to use pitching either. So, I mean, I think this is pretty straightforward for me.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I think that Pirates Mariners games could be a high scoring one. I mean, 8.5 over under. I could see that kind of churning out on both sides there.
Definitely.
So, yeah, it is a less than optimal slate for pitching, but we got to deal with it. I think it's going to be one of those nights where I play a couple tournaments. It's not going to be a full blown all in type night.
Definitely not.
So let's wrap things up here with the pitcher nail down. Be sure to check out DaveFantasyCafe.com for all the great tools and content.